to More Fanime. I'm your fan of More Anime. What's up, everybody? What's up to my More Fanimaniacs? Today, I'm going to be taking a deep dive into chapter 1060 of the One Piece manga. This chapter just dropped today, and I'm going to tell you right here, right now, it's one of the best chapters I've read. And the last few have been absolutely fantastic. It is real good. We get to see Imu-sama from Mary Joa. We get to see Sabo again, finally in the flesh, not just on the snail phone. We get to see Sabo. And at the very end of this chapter, Bonney makes a return. Jewelry Bonney, the one who can manipulate her age. She can either be a really old lady or a little kid or somewhere in between. And she's a major mystery. And to be honest, she's a character that can really shed some light on what really happened at the Reverie. But before I get too deep into spoiler territory, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler warning, and if you could drop a comment down below, like this video. It's just a second of your time, but it really helps me beat those YouTube algorithms. Also, please hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want to see more of the More Fanime review videos. Let's get into it. So, this chapter kicks off with Luffy finally finding out about Sabo and Cobra and Vivi. I was curious at exactly when he would find out, if he already found out off screen and just hasn't mentioned it yet, but no. It seems like they're going through all the newspapers they might have missed while they were on Wano right now. It looks like Nico Robin's having everybody sit down, get down in your little kindergarten cross-leg positions, and I'm gonna read the papers of the last few weeks, and they just reached Sabo kills Cobra, and Vivi goes missing, and Luffy loses his ever-loving shiz. He is pissed. He does not believe for a second Sabo would kill Cobra. He doesn't believe that at all, and of course neither do we, the One Piece fans. We know Sabo is a good guy. It's obviously some type of cover-up by the world government, but nevertheless, Luffy wants to go to Alabasta immediately, find Vivi, save the day, figure out what's going on with Sabo. But Zoro, of all people, the one man, this was a little confusing for me. Zoro was the one telling Luffy, no, sit down. We're not going to Alabasta. Vivi isn't even there. Vivi is over at Mary Joa. Last she was seen, at least. I mean, I predict maybe she's with Sabo. I hope not after what happens in this chapter, but I thought maybe Sabo took her, but now I'm thinking she's been captured by the Five Elders at this point and is enslaved to them. Maybe her blood or something is her bloodline, the Nefertari, maybe it's very important to the world government. I'm not sure why. Maybe we'll find out down the line, but that's a theory I'm rolling around in my old brain hole. But Zoro, of all people, explains that she's not even at Alabasta, Luffy. Chill out. We don't need to spend weeks upon weeks heading back under the red line. It would take way too long. We are trying to keep up with Kid and Law right now, who are both after the One Piece. We're not even going to talk about whatever Buggy's doing with the One Piece. I'm assuming he's also after it as well. Speaking of Buggy, we still haven't got to see one of those marine bounties yet that they brought up. I'd really like to see what the bounties of people like Garp and Akainu are comparatively to other characters like Kobe and Green Bull. That would be nice, Oda. Also, I'm not sure if there's a break next week for chapters. If you could comment down below, let me know. That'd be very helpful for me. I hope not. I hope they never have another break week, because 2 weeks between chapters is just torture. So Zoro convinces Luffy, hey, remember what you said about Ace when he was in trouble initially. You said Ace can handle himself. When you need to step in, you'll step in. If along the way, on our way to get to Laugh Tale, we run into Vivi or we run into somebody with information about Vivi or Sabo, we will handle it then. You know, it's kind of a smart move on Zoro's part because it would, you know, they'd be way behind on this One Piece journey. And I'm also confused about that. So, finding the One Piece makes you automatically King of the Pirates. So if someone accidentally stumbled upon the One Piece, would they automatically be King of the Pirates? Like, if someone like Kid did find the One Piece while Luffy went back to Alabasta to save Vivi, if that did happen, would he automatically be King of the Pirates, even though Luffy was the one to take down Kaido? Luffy's the Emperor. Luffy has more achievements on his belt. Is it a combination of achievements that makes you King of the Pirates? I assume it's just recognition from your peers. And the government, of course, calling you King of the Pirates. But I guess if you find it, it's that. I'm sure it's a combination of things. I'm sure you got to be able to handle yourself. You can't just be some random nobody. You can't. I can't imagine someone like Foxy from the Foxy Pirates showing up and finding it on a whim and then becoming King of the Pirates. But who knows? Who knows? Luffy agrees not to go after it, even though he does remember saying, you know, Ace could handle himself. Even though Luffy, in the end, regretted saying that, I'm sure. You gotta think about this too, Zoro. Luffy probably regrets saying, oh, Ace will be fine. Because if he had went after Ace then, he probably would have died, actually. Because he wouldn't have had the backup of Whitebeard and all them if they happened to run into... Maybe they could have rescued him at Impel Down way sooner. Possibility. Maybe. Maybe get in there just like they did, but they wouldn't have got in without Boa Hancock. It would have been a whole, you know, shit show. Honestly, what the path Luffy's on is the path he should be on. Caribou is seen again on the Sunny, not Carrot, like some people and myself predicted, possibly snuck onto the Sunny. It ain't happening. Sounds like Carrot ain't joining the crew. I mean, we still don't know. I mean, maybe she's hidden in a little compartment and just is stuck. And we're going to find her at the next island, but I highly doubt at this point. I think Carrot's joining the crew. That ship has sailed, which, I brought this up before, but, you know, the crew never said officially goodbye to Carrot. Maybe it was off screen, but I just feel bad for Carrot. I do. But Caribou is on the ship. He is on the Sunny. What is going on? He is getting information. It almost looks like he's trapped inside of this bin. I don't know why he'd put himself inside this barrel that he's in, this Donkey Kong style barrel. And he's just listening to all this stuff. He talks about going to marry Joa. This is when Luffy's freaking out. But so he's getting all the information the Straw Hats are getting. I mean, do you guys think that Caribou would join the Straw Hat crew? I really hope not. He'd automatically be the least favorite Straw Hat from now until forever. This guy would be awful. Honestly, he's one of my least favorite characters that keeps reoccurring. Like, he has overstayed his welcome. He was never a funny character. He's just a character you want to see get punched in the face. I mean, I think I like the Celestial Dragons more because they have more of a true impact to the story, but I guess maybe we'll wait and see. Some people have predicted that Caribou might secretly be part of Blackbeard's crew. We'll have to wait. I don't know. But if that's true, he really has some information about these weapons of mass destruction that Luffy knows about. And, sure, Hoshi. So, if this is true, let's see, after Nico Robin explains the Sabo incident, she also starts to talk about Buggy and the Cross Guild, and Luffy's like, no, there must be some mistake. Luffy is sour to the fact that Buggy is an emperor just like him, and not only an emperor just like him, Buggy is above Luffy in bounty right now, and Luffy must be like, what the hell? I beat that guy's ass years ago. What's going on? Just like the rest of us, but we know that the real leader of the Cross Guild is Crocodile, and the real muscle of the Cross Guild is Mihawk. So really, Buggy is just a figurehead, and once Luffy finds that out, he's going to be like, I told you that Buggy isn't better than me. You know, Luffy might have a little bit of envy looking at Buggy's current bounty. I mean, I would be like, what? This guy, even though I love Buggy as a character, but a person in this world might be like, what the heck? Luffy decides to tell the crew his dream. We still don't know what that dream really is. I thought it was to, like be able to, feast whenever he wanted and laugh with all his friends. I assume it's something like that. Another idea would be maybe he wants nobody to go hungry because he loves food, or maybe he wants to free every slave. Maybe it's a dream. I mean, he's been thinking about this dream since he was a child. So he didn't know about what he knows now with the celestial dragons and whatnot. So this dream that he has to accomplish after he becomes the king of the pirates, which also tells me that after he becomes king of the pirates, there still could be another arc of him being the king of the pirates and setting the world straight. We'll have to wait and see, but I have an assumption here that being king of the pirates is not the final goal. So him finding the One Piece isn't going to be the end. He's got more to do after that. He needs to use that reputation to, I'm assuming, help people. It could be something really dumb. I could see him going, I want to become king of the pirates so that I can have all the food in the world for me. Something like goofy that Oda might think is funny, but I doubt that because the crew is shown with all these different reactions, and even Zoro's like, what? Jinbei's like, what did you just say? Nami says, what? Brook is like, you're too much. Some of them are laughing, and like even Usopp is like, hey, are you serious? Like, it looks like Zoro, Nami, Jinbei, and Usopp are the most worried. Even Nico Robin's like, what? That's your dream? And Chopper's like, wow, that sounds so cool. So it must be something good. I'm assuming it's something like freeing people or giving them food so nobody goes hungry. I can't imagine anything else. What else could Luffy want? Especially if it's something he told Ace and Sabo when they were kids. And he told Shanks as well. He mentions he told Shanks, and they said something to, what exactly did Shanks say when you told him? Okay, so Luffy says, they all laughed at me like they did, they laughed at his dream. Shanks had some tears rolling down his face. I assume he means tears of laughter, or could it have been tears of joy? So maybe when Luffy told Shanks his dream as a child, maybe that was the time that Shanks decided that Luffy was the one to eat the Nika Nika fruit. That's an assumption. But it seems interesting that he pointed out that, Shanks had tears rolling down his face. Didn't say anything about him laughing. Luffy might have thought it was from laughter, but maybe it was seriously like something that moved Shanks into thinking this boy has got a real future and could become king of the pirates someday. But it's an interesting concept. I don't really have much interest in Luffy's dream. I assume it's something really, really good a good guy would do. Happy for the guy, but I mean, really, finding the One Piece is more epic to me now since we've spent so many chapters heading towards this moment. And even Nico Robbins said it's been a long time since the last poneglyph was seen. We don't even have a clue where to look. So where is the whole crew going? I know they're going like northeast or something, even further out. It's going to take the longest route to wherever they're going, heading towards Laugh Tale to find the final poneglyph. But what does that mean? Where are they just looking blind here? Luckily, they do have Nami, a great navigator, and Nico Robin, a great archaeologist. Maybe they can find some clues along the way. I'm sure everything will work out. Luffy's a lucky guy. But do they have any idea of where to actually go other than what the log pose says? I mean, other than that, do they have any idea? I guess this whole time they've really been only following the log pose other than going towards Wano. They kind of were following whatever Law wanted them to do, and things just kind of got them to Wano, one step at a time. So now they're back on the log pose thing, but I mean, there's so many ways this story can go. They need more information about this final poneglyph. It's the last one. I mean, who else could have it? I'm assuming Shanks doesn't have it. Maybe Blackbeard has it. Maybe Bonney knows where it is. After Luffy talks about his dream, we go to McDonald's, as you see here. Actually, it's the Navy headquarters in the New World. You know, right after the Red Line, and they're freaking out because they got a they got a transmission from a snail phone, and it's coming from, let's see, Lulusia Kingdom, and it turns out to be Sabo contacting Dragon and the rest of the revolutionaries. They even mention, why are they not using a white transponder snail to jam this call so we can't oversay it or overhear it? He must be desperate. I doubt he'll speak for long. So it was probably just a quick conversation. If he could get a white snail phone that they can't hack into and figure out his location, that would have been a smarter move. But what Sabo has to say was very important to him. He does explain to Dragon, hey, I did not kill Cobra. Some other shiz happened. But he doesn't tell us who did it. But he does mention that he saw Imu-sama on the throne that no king should ever sit on, the king of the world. There is no king of the world, just the elders and then the different kingdoms underneath them and underneath the celestial dragons. And when they talk about Cobra, he said, they mention that they're not after the kings of the world. They're only after the celestial dragons. The revolutionaries aren't mad at most of the kings of the world. I'm sure some of them are shitty tyrants, but somebody like Cobra was a good king. And other than the incident with Crocodile, he had a pretty clean record of treating his people, fairly. So the fact that Sabo killing Cobra just did not sit well with Dragon or any of them. I can't believe for a second that Dragon would think that Sabo killed Cobra. I mean, I don't think any of us, not one of us, thought, oh, maybe there's some crazy ruthless side to Sabo, and it doesn't matter what royalty you are, and he just goes around slitting throats, and Cobra just happened to be the first one in his way. Highly doubtful. Seems like Sabo is on the run. He's a #1 wanted criminal right now, probably right around the same wanted level as Dragon. I would not be surprised if Sabo's bounty, I don't think we've seen his original bounty. I'm sure he's got to have some type of bounty. I'm assuming it's very high. I'm assuming it's higher than Luffy's. I'm assuming he is, more wanted than even Dragon at this point, because he is the Flame Emperor, the hero of the revolution. Like, people are praising him right now. So they coordinate the Lulusia Kingdom, where Sabo is, and then the 5 elders say, I see, he's an unlucky man. And then the one elder with the big mustache is like, no, this is fate. And then we go back to the Kumbaka Kingdom. They're freaking out. They're like, oh, Sabo didn't do it. But then we get to this Lulu Kingdom, this, what's it called here? Lulusia Kingdom, the New World, and you see King Lulusia Siki and Princess Komain. They're being questioned, and they're saying, Your Majesty, no, I mean Lord Siki, please just confess to your crimes. We don't want to kill you. And I was like, what crimes? And then almost out of nowhere, we see Imu in a silhouette. We just see those crazy eyes, those circle eyes that kind of look like Hawkeye's eyes. It happened in throne room. He saw a king on the empty throne. Sabo's telling Dragon. And they tell them to cut the signal to the surveillance division's transponder signal. Imu crosses out Lulusia, and out of nowhere, out of the sky, it looks really intense. It looks like a giant energy ball, like a death ball of sort, a spirit bomb from Dragon Ball, coming down and completely destroying Lulusia that Sabo is on. How could Sabo escape this? We have never seen something as big as an island like this, an attack this big, and it seems like Emu had something to do with it. I'm assuming he didn't do this with some kind of crazy ability. I'm assuming he has one of the ancient weapons and we just didn't know about it. We don't know which one, but I'm assuming the world government, or at least the elders of the celestial dragons, have a secret weapon of mass destruction. Otherwise, my other opinion would be maybe Enel is working for the world government now, and he is the ultimate weapon with his lightning fruit. But I doubt it. I mean, if he had the power to blow up an island, I don't think... God, what's-her-face's father from Skypiea would have survived that lightning strike that he did back in the Dizay. This cannot be, doesn't look like electricity. It looks like a giant energy ball. I mean, it's so hard to tell in the manga, but the entire island is gone. And it says, no one detected anything abnormal today. No information was intercepted. As for Luisia, that country never existed. And I'm not sure if just the narrator is saying that, but wow. So at the end of this, the last 4 or 5 pages, we get to see Chopper just be an idiot. He goes out onto the ship with one of those giant hats made by Tama, the little girl that makes the dumpling cheek thing, and he's, that big hat thing. I don't even know what you'd call him, big fucking straw hat thing. He goes out, and the winds, the crazy storm that's happening, they're dealing with crazy weather right now. Even Nami says we must be near a winter type island. So the next island we end up on might be some type of winter island. That'll be fun. I mean, it really has been since Punk Hazard that we've seen like a snowy plain. And before that, it was Chopper's home island, the Drum Island. So now we might be heading to another winter type island. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I really do hope it's Elbaf, like everybody else. Because I think Usopp needs some kind of badass character power-up, and I think if he's going to get it, it's going to be at Elbaf. But Chopper tries to be cute and goes, I know, he's not trying to be cute. He's just trying to help the crew. But he puts this stupid hat on to protect him from the snow, he says. Shield me from the snow, I guess. He goes out there, and the wind blows him away. Luffy stretches his arm out to save Chopper, and then the wind takes him and Chopper away. And I'm thinking, Luffy, you should maybe go into Gear 5th and, go cartoon and fly back somehow. But it seems like the crew might be separated. Zoro might go after them since he's, helping out. Somebody might go after them that can. But it might be Luffy and Chopper on their own little two-person adventure in the next few chapters while the rest of the crew looks for them on their own group adventure. Very possibly. It looks like the crew's going to split up soon again, as they always do, and then they get back together eventually, but it feels like they just got back together. I really hope that Luffy does make it back to the boat without, flying to some other island and getting stuck somewhere again. But I mean, it looks like they're heading on out. But meanwhile, there's this giant worm-type ball of water going on. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the explosion that happened with Sabo possibly being eviscerated. I gotta bring that up again. Sabo could have literally just been disintegrated in front of our eyes. I have a 1% chance in my head that Sabo was actually killed. I really don't think that happened, but if it did, wow, what a way to go out, and what a way that would be unexpected, because we all probably expect Sabo, if he was to die in some momentous battle, but to just get eviscerated by a giant energy ball out of the sky from some type of weapon is insane. We still don't know where that power came from, but whatever it is, it's dangerous. And I don't even think Gear 5th could block something like that. I don't think anybody, even Zoro, could defend something like that. So how could Sabo get away other than turning into fire and maybe going over the ocean as far as he possibly can and hoping someone out there can save him from drowning? I don't know what he could do to get away from there unless someone could teleport in and save Sabo. He could easily be dead right now again. I thought he died possibly at the Reverie, and I was like, man, he wouldn't do that. But now it's like, come on. How many times are you going to do this? How many times are you going to do this bait and switch with Sabo's possible death? I know it's all theory, but it could be it for Sabo here. It could be an epic... This is memorable to me because it's unexpected. Out of nowhere, he's like, oh, cool, Sabo's alive. Sabo didn't kill Cobra. Sabo's gone. Yeah, so they're dealing with this giant tornado water hurricane, and turns out, because Sanji can hear the crying of a female inside of it in danger, a woman in danger within this, and somehow he can hear that, and even Nami's like, you can hear that within the water? What are you talking about? Which is hilarious. Zoro says, I will cut it, and I love that. I love that Zoro's first thought is, I'll cut this giant hurricane ball in half. And Sanji's like, you better not leave a scratch on that lady. One sword style, bird dance. Zoro cuts it in half, and out pops Jewelry Bonney. Yes, Jewelry Bonney of the worst generation, the glutton. $320 million bounty right now, and she is in her kid form, and they even say a kid popped out. Luffy, like I said, and Chopper are heading that way. It kind of looks like maybe Zoro went after them, but I'm not sure. So maybe Luffy, Chopper, Zoro on their own fun adventure while the rest of the crew does their own thing here with Jewelry Bonney. Because I don't even think Luffy's ever truly talked to Jewelry Bonney yet. There's something that she is integral to this story. She has information about the Reverie. She has some type of relation with Kuma, who also has a ton of information. We didn't get to see really any Kuma during this chapter. Let me double check when we were at the Revolutionary Army. But yeah, I don't see Kuma, so we don't even know how much information Kuma remembers, if Kuma is still controlled by the government, like will he turn on the Revolutionary Army? Does he have a camera? Has anybody checked to make sure there's not a tracker in Kuma? Like, they could think one day that the Revolutionary Army might try and take Kuma back. Might have been smart for old Vegapunk or the world government to stick a chip in him so we could find him whenever the Revolutionary Army decides to make their move. So he could literally turn on them at any moment. Maybe they're using it as a way to keep their eyes on Dragon and them. I mean, that'd be something. So Bonney, yes, has some type of relationship with Kuma. She could be his daughter. She could be his wife. She could be his mother, his sister. We don't know, because we don't know her true age. We don't know if she's really a little girl. We don't know if she's really an elderly lady. I have a feeling the form that we see as her main, human form in her like mid-20s, 30s is not the real form Bonney, her real age. I have a feeling she's either really old or really young. We just don't know which one that is. We'll have to wait and see. But she could be very important. She could be Luffy's mom, for all we know. She could be related to somebody very important. But Kuma, of course, like I mentioned, but maybe even more than that. More importantly, right now, she can explain what happened with Sabo and Cobra and whoever's sitting, Imu-sama. She might have more information. She got away, at least. She almost died here. I don't know how she ended up in this vortex of this crazy ice water hurricane thing. But luckily, the Straw Hat crew was cruising by. And she might have died if they decided to go save Vivi. So, fate and whatnot. So Zoro might have known something. He could have felt it with his, observation hockey. I doubt it, but that would have been interesting. Brook, he made one joke about this giant vortex looking like an afro. He didn't get to do a whole lot. I feel bad. I think Brook is a badass character as shown back at Whole Cake Island. I do hope he gets an opportunity soon. Usopp was just there freaking out when Chopper and Luffy took off, so maybe he can save them somehow. Maybe Usopp will follow them with some kind of crazy plant slingshot type maneuver. Really, who knows? Bonney is... I'm really excited for the crew to question Bonney. I really hope there isn't a break week next week. I do, because there's so much going on right now. How does Oda juggle all this stuff in his head? He must have a stack of notes. Or maybe he just is the biggest fan of his own creation. This amazing story with all this world building. There's so many things that need to be tied with a bow before we can end this adventure. And I'm sure we have many, many years left. At least 3 minimum, 5 maximum. And that's a long time to tell a story. But if we keep taking the damn break weeks, maybe we won't be able to make it in that 5-year gap. Oda, come on, man. Let's get 2 chapters a week. You know, comment down below One Piece's life if you want 2 chapters a week, because I want 2 chapters a week. And like I said, I want to know what island we're heading to. And I have a feeling chapter 1061 will finally lead us into our next island, or at least show us what island we're going to. Another prediction of mine for chapter 1061, if we're still going to keep jumping around and checking in on different characters that we're wondering what's going on with them, like Blackbeard and Boa Hancock and Kuma and whatnot, and the Revolutionaries and Sabo. One character has not been checked up on in a while, and that's my boy Doflamingo, sitting his happy ass in Impel Down. But for all we know, the world government now has an army of little kid Doflamingo PX, pacifistas, which would be bad news. But I can't imagine Doflamingo will take that lightly. Doflamingo is another very important character to the story due to his Celestial Dragon background. I still believe that Vergo is alive and he is going to break Doflamingo out. I just want Oda to confirm that theory and show us what's going on. I have a feeling at some point soon, next time we see Doflamingo, he will either be assassinated or get broken out by my man Vergo, who I do believe is alive and I do believe still is considered a vice admiral in the Marines, because Smoker never reported him, because Smoker and Tashigi went to see Dr. Vegapunk. Dr. Vegapunk, we will see Dr. Vegapunk's face so soon. We will learn more about these new pacifistas. I know it. And maybe the pacifistas are only children right now. Maybe they're on an accelerated growth. We don't know. I hope not. I really don't want to see crazy clones of Boa Hancock or even Doflamingo grow older, because we've already seen them fight as adults. I like the idea of these super-powered children, Lunarian clone cyborg things. That is crazy and unexpected. I'm excited to see these characters like Mini Mihawk versus actual Mihawk. That will be a sword battle for the ages. And I really want to see the extent of these guys' powers. Like, are they stronger than the original? We really don't know. One of them went toe-to-toe with Blackbeard, and he was like, shit, dark hole. This is more Fanime. What did you think of chapter 1060? Have you read it? Comment down below. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 just because I want more information, and we still don't know Luffy's dream. We'll know soon. I'll talk to you later.
Yo! Don't give it up, Luffy! Don't give it up, Solo! Don't give it up now, baby!